You might hear power of attorney and think that's legal jargon for the elderly, or that's something I'll deal with decades from now. Or perhaps you feel that familiar wave of overwhelm that comes with estate planning, a sense that it's a monumental mountain to climb, filled with uncomfortable conversations. If that resonates with you, take a deep breath. That feeling is entirely normal. In our practice at SafeSimpleSound, we observe this pattern constantly. It creates what we call a dangerous financial contradiction. We know we should be prepared for the unexpected, yet we push the very tools that protect us into a future that may never arrive as planned. The result is often inaction, leaving our financial lives vulnerable right now. In today's episode, we are going to resolve this contradiction. We're going to show you how a power of attorney isn't just paperwork. It is the First Amendment to your personal financial constitution. It is the safe layer of our S3 philosophy. Whether you are a young professional, a parent, building a family, or approaching retirement, this episode will give you the capability to protect your vision and your loved ones. We're glad you're here to build your foundation with us. At SafeSimpleSound, we often use the metaphor of a nation's constitution. Why does a nation have a constitution? It exists to provide stability, direction, and a clear framework for decision-making, especially during times of uncertainty or crisis. It ensures that no matter who is in charge or what storms are raging, the core values and laws of the land remain intact. Your financial life deserves that same deliberate structure. Through our S3 framework, we believe every family needs a personal financial constitution. This is a roadmap that articulates your values and your vision, ensuring that your financial decisions, big and small, are always aligned with what matters most to you. This embodies our core principle of vision-first direction. In the traditional financial industry, you'll often see advisors starting with products, stocks, insurance, returns, but our team's approach suggests that creates a shaky structure. Instead, we start with you, your goals, your values, your vision for a well-lived life. So, if your life has a constitution, what is the First Amendment? What is the most essential primary protection? It is the power of attorney. Let's make this simple. In the simplest terms, a power of attorney, or POA, is a legal document that grants a trusted person, known as your agent, the authority to make financial and legal decisions on your behalf if you become incapacitated. Now, here is where we need to apply the SAFE principle to our thinking. Many people associate incapacity exclusively with old age or dementia. But from a risk management perspective, incapacity can happen to anyone at any time, due to an accident, a sudden illness, or a temporary medical event. Without this document, if you cannot speak for yourself, your family faces a legal nightmare. They cannot simply walk into the bank and pay your mortgage because they are your spouse or parent. Privacy laws prevent that. Without a POA, they would likely have to go to court to have a guardian appointed just to access your accounts, pay for your medical care, or keep the lights on. This process is public, it is expensive, and it is emotionally draining during a time of crisis. Our team has observed patterns where the absence of this single document disrupts a family's harmony and derails a sound financial plan far more than any market downturn ever could. To help visualize this, let's bring in our favorite mascot, Shelby the trustworthy tortoise. When we think about financial planning, we often focus on the legs of the tortoise, the movement. That's your investment portfolio, your savings rate, your career growth. Those are the things moving you forward. But a tortoise is vulnerable without one key element, the shell. The power of attorney is the shell. It is the ultimate protective layer. It doesn't necessarily make you move faster, but it ensures that you are safe and secure no matter what weather you encounter on your journey. It keeps the soft, vulnerable parts of your financial life, your assets, your access to cash, your legal standing, protected from the elements. From a sound perspective, this aligns with our belief that true financial being isn't about chasing the highest returns. It's about building a structure so secure that you can weather any storm. We emphasize the safe pillar of our approach before anything else. If you are incapacitated without a POA, your brilliant investment strategy, your meticulously planned retirement accounts, your business succession plan, they are all frozen. The power of attorney acts as the circuit breaker, ensuring the vision you've so carefully built can continue to be powered by someone you trust. It is the ultimate risk management tool for your life's work. This is a key differentiator in our practice. While others focus on accumulation, our framework demands that we protect what you have as the non-negotiable first step to growing it with confidence. To really understand the weight of this document, we need to move from theory to application. We need to see how this plays out in the real world. Let me share a hypothetical scenario that illustrates how this principle applies. While this story is created for educational purposes, it creates a composite of patterns we observe when families apply, or fail to apply, S3 thinking to their estate planning. Consider a fictional couple. Let's call them Michael and Sarah. They are in their late 30s. Michael is a successful graphic designer running his own small business, and Sarah is a teacher. They have a mortgage, a modest investment portfolio, and 2 young children. They are diligent savers and feel financially responsible. However, like many people, they view estate planning as something for later. They haven't established a power of attorney because they feel healthy and young. One Tuesday afternoon, Michael is involved in a severe cycling accident. He is hospitalized and placed in a medically induced coma for 3 weeks to aid his recovery. Now, let's look at the financial reality of this situation without a safe foundation. Sarah is obviously dealing with immense emotional trauma. But a few days in, the practical realities hit. The mortgage is due. Michael handles the household banking from an account solely in his name because he had it before they were married, and they transfer money into it for bills. Sarah tries to access the account to pay the mortgage, but the bank cannot legally allow her access. His name is on the account. Hers is not, and without Michael there to authorize it, the bank's hands are tied. Furthermore, Michael has business contracts pending. Clients are waiting for files that are password protected on his computer. Invoices need to be sent so income can come in. Sarah cannot legally step in to sign off on business decisions or access his business accounts to pay his subcontractors. The business grinds to a halt. In this hypothetical scenario, Sarah is now forced to hire an attorney to petition the court for conservatorship or guardianship over her own husband. This costs thousands of dollars in legal fees, money they need for medical bills, and takes weeks to process. During those weeks, bills go unpaid, credit scores take a hit, and business revenue is lost. Now let's rewind this hypothetical story and apply the SafeSimpleSound framework. Imagine that 6 months prior, Michael and Sarah worked with a team using our approach. They established their financial constitution. As part of that process, Michael signed a durable power of attorney, naming Sarah as his agent. Now, the accident happens. The emotional trauma is the same. That is a part of life we cannot plan away. But the financial chaos? It effectively evaporates. With the power of attorney document, Sarah can walk into the bank or email a digital copy, and the bank manager says, "Okay, Mrs. Miller, you have the authority to access these funds." She pays the mortgage. She sends the POA to Michael's business clients and is able to legally pause contracts or authorize a subcontractor to finish the work, keeping the business reputation intact. She can access his digital assets. She can file their joint tax return if the deadline approaches while he is recovering. While this story is fictional, it demonstrates how the power of attorney acts as that protective shell. In the first version of the story, the lack of a document compounded a tragedy with a financial crisis. In the second version, the document allowed Sarah to focus entirely on Michael's recovery and their children, rather than fighting a court battle. This brings us to a critical decision: choosing your agent. In our story, Michael chose Sarah. But drawing from our team's experience, we must emphasize that your agent, sometimes called an attorney-in-fact, takes on immense responsibility. They have the power to access bank accounts, manage investments, make decisions regarding real estate, operate a small business. Choosing this person requires deep confidence in their judgment and integrity. Through our SafeSimpleSound practice, we often advise that this is not about choosing the person you love the most. It is about choosing the person who is most capable, responsible, and level-headed. Sometimes the person you love most might be too emotional during a crisis to handle complex financial logistics. Sometimes a spouse is the perfect choice. Other times it might be a trusted sibling or a professional fiduciary. The principle here is competence over sentiment. You are deputizing someone to execute your vision when you cannot. This hypothetical example shows patterns we observe when families treat estate planning not as a death plan, but as a life protection plan. Whether you're facing a situation like Michael and Sarah, or simply managing assets in retirement, the principle holds true. The POA preserves your autonomy by delegating it to someone who shares your values. As we begin to wrap up this episode, let's bring this back to the simple pillar of our framework. We've established the why, the safety of the shell. We've looked at the implications through our hypothetical Michael and Sarah. Now let's tackle the how. The paralysis around estate planning often comes from simply not knowing where to start. Your first step isn't necessarily to call a lawyer today. Your first step is to start a conversation. This aligns with our commitment to making financial planning accessible. We want to empower you to have a safe conversation with your loved ones. When you talk to your potential agent or your family, we recommend framing it not as a morbid what-if scenario, which triggers fear, but as a profound act of love and organization. Here is a script you can use, drawing directly from our S3 communication strategies. I am putting a plan in place to make sure all my financial affairs are organized and my wishes are clear. It's important to me that if I ever couldn't make decisions for myself, you would be protected from stress and confusion. I've chosen you to be my agent, and I'd like to talk about what that means. Notice the tone there? It is calm, it is responsible, it transforms a dreaded task into an act of profound care for the people you love. To summarize our insights for today, 1. The contradiction. We delay planning for the unlikely future, leaving our certain present vulnerable. The POA resolves this. 2. The foundation. The power of attorney is the First Amendment of your financial constitution. It is the bedrock of safety. 3. The shell. Just like Shelby the tortoise, your financial movement, the investments, needs a protective shell, the POA to survive the weather. 4. The agent. Choose based on capability and trust, ensuring your vision is executed with precision. This episode draws from our recent blog post, Your Financial Constitution's First Amendment, which you can find at SafeSimpleSound.com. There, we have the complete written framework and additional resources to help you visualize this structure. If today's insights resonate with your family's situation, we invite you to explore what financial planning could look like through our Safe, Simple Sound practice. But even if you never become a client, our hope is that you are now equipped with this capability. We want you to have that shell in place. We want you to have that conversation with your family, because when your foundation is safe and your strategy is simple, your financial future becomes sound. Thank you for listening and for taking the time to build your financial constitution with us today.